Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Talk Girlies podcast. I'm your host, Disapproval Joe, and today I am flying solo, but I have a great story to tell you guys that I wanted to share with you. So, I've known this individual for quite some time, and to me, they're like a hero. And not all heroes have to wear capes and such, but with this particular individual, they're a hero to me. And they chose to stay anonymous, but I've had the permission to talk about their story. They did not want to do a podcast, and I wanted to respect that boundary, but they did say that I could share some parts of their story. And I just hope you guys enjoy this story and learn something from it as well. So, I worked at a company for a while, and I remember working there. All of my coworkers told me that someone special was going to be coming in. And I was very new at this establishment. I didn't think anything of it. And this person comes up to me. You would have thought they were my best friend that I've known for years. And they just wanted to know everything about me. And because of my past and not really having so many energetic, so friendly people in my life, I didn't know how to comprehend or respond back. So I came off like a little skittish at first, I think, and I obviously answered the questions because I was serving that individual, but it was more than that. Like, this individual wanted to really know me, not because they had to, or not because they felt they'd be nice to me because they were, waiting for me to serve them or anything. They just wanted to be nice to me and get to know me simply because they just wanted to. And I feel as a society, we have lost that type of kindness and communication due to things like COVID and due to things like the obsessions of technology and social media. So it was really fascinating to see that. But it didn't end there. So for the past 3 years, this person has been coming in religiously to see everyone at this establishment. And every time someone leaves or goes on with their life, or we have someone new, this individual loves to keep tabs and remember all of them. And they just are just so fascinated with people, what they do, their stories. And it's not just at my establishment this happens at. This happens at every place this individual goes. That this individual will travel, they'll go to even a bar and just make friends with anybody. And to me, that is such a skill that I feel a lot of people are not given. And I feel it's like a gift in a sense that someone could just walk up to a stranger and build a conversation, a bond, and a connection. So that really stuck with me with this individual to the point where I wanted to engage in a closer relationship with this individual. So one day I asked this individual to hang out, and they said yes. And when I was hanging out with them, they opened up to me a little bit more in detail of who they were. And they told me that they had a whole other life beyond of what everyone knew about them. They were a professional piano player. And, I would have never thought, because this individual never really talks about themselves. They never really flatter themselves. It's usually always about me. So that's when I turned the tables on this individual. It was so fascinating to know not only, did they open up about their past, but it was something that I just never thought. So the individual basically said that they got to travel the world and with their family, that all of them are musically talented, going to Juilliard and know how to play instruments, etc. Just all musically so inclined. And someone making music such as myself, I was just so happy to not only engage in a conversation about music with someone new, but someone that has been able to travel the world and make something of it is just such a great success story. And I asked the individual, I said, why don't you like to talk about this more? And they simply said that they didn't like all that type of like fame and all that type of like attention of like being like a celebrity stuff. It wasn't for them, because that's not why they did it. They simply did it because they loved it. They did it because it was something they were good at and they liked to do. And something this individual said to me recently was that they always like to be second best. And I didn't really understand that at first. But how they described it to me was that they always like to be involved of something of helping someone else. So to my perspective, how this individual was describing it was that they like to be a part of something and know that they're contributing one way or another. And I feel that's a great way to not always aim to be number one, but to know you are a part of something and contributing to a good cost or something that will be successful, hopefully. So I felt that was super inspiring as well. But it didn't stop there. So the individual opened up to me and said that they were no longer able to play the piano. They were no longer able to make it a full career. And I was thinking that that would be such a hard thing to live without because it consumed this person's whole life for so long. It was all they knew. So I asked them, I said, how did you cope with that? Like did you feel sadness? Did you feel any anger? And they simply told me that, Joe, no. The thing that got me through it was my personality. And that sentence alone was just reminding me how strong this individual is. The fact that your own emotions, just being positive and looking on the bright side of things, helped this individual cope with losing the one thing that they only knew in their life is just so fascinating to me. Because I know myself, I have lost a lot of things because of my epilepsy, or I've had falling outs with individuals. And you know me, I'll write a whole breakup album about it. I'll sob about it. I'll scream. I'll have a whole moment. And I just think it's so amazing that this individual, though, instead of letting all that negativity consume them, they were able to move on with their life and they were able to say, I got to live my dream. What's next? And I think that is so empowering that when one door closes, another can open. And I feel we need to learn from this individual to do the same. And we cannot let when one door closes change our mood. We cannot take it out on others and we cannot take it out on ourselves. If we have had the privilege to live a dream even for a second, that is a gift that we should treasure and not be greedy and ask for more of. On top of that, this individual now works at a more commonplace, we'll say, and does some food service. And they have built another great community of friends and now serve the public and have a great time. And they still get to travel, see their kids, and that is all amazing. And they're happy with that. But the thing is that still to this day, this individual does not like to brag or flex or show off that they had this such elaborate life because they don't want to be known as that person. They want to be known for just the person they are today. And I felt that was one of the most humble things I've ever heard, because I feel at times when we do get that attention and we do get that publicity, sometimes people will stretch it out for so long to make themselves feel good or to just act as if they're better than somebody, but not this individual. This individual does not like to really talk about because they feel that it will consume how they are perceived and looked at. And they don't want to be looked at like that. They don't want to be known as this famous piano icon. They want to be known as simply themselves. And I think that at times we should just be known as ourselves as well. We should not be defined on what we do or who we're connected with. We should just be viewed on who we are as individuals. And then on top of that, while working at the food service place, the individual told me of a story. They were serving food to a family once. And as we know, the public can be very interesting, we'll say. And they were serving this family. And the father of the family said to the kids, "This is why you go to college." Now, this individual does never really say anything back. They usually keep to themselves. But this time they decided to say something to this comment. They simply said and pointed to everyone at the establishment of what they were beyond their aprons. They said that this person was an actor. They said that this person does singing, etc. This individual hyped up every single person in the room to shove it back at that person's face with kindness to say, hey, we are more than just the person that served you at this table. And then the father of this family said to this individual, well, who are you? And they simply said, I know who I am, and right now I am serving you food. And this individual then feel the need to brag once again about their elaborate life of being who they were back then. Because they felt strong enough and confident enough by saying who they were in that moment, and that was good enough for them. And I think that is so empowering to have that self confidence and worth. And once again, if this individual didn't have this type of self love for themselves during that time when they lost the one thing that they only knew, they would have never recovered or been able to make a comment like that. So, the moral of the story is, you guys, some heroes choose to stay anonymous because they like to keep their success stories, such as fame and such, private because they don't want to be recognized or remembered for that. They simply want to be remembered as someone that was a friend to all. And that's something I want you guys to take away from this podcast today, is that don't worry about all these success stories, fame, riches, money, etc. Because I think successful can be the idea of like so much obsession that you need all the money, you need all the highest status. And that can be a very lonesome and a very competitive life where you make a lot of enemies with individuals and yourself. But when you're likable, you're a friend to all, you empathize with all. And I think that is very important to have a nice, strong community like this individual has stressed to me over the past 3 years of knowing them. And I just want to say to this individual, I love you dearly. You mean so much to me and other people, and you are a hero of mine and to many others. With that being said, you guys, this has been the Real Talk Girly podcast, and I hope you guys take something from this message and be a hero to someone else. Bye.